Hey guys, welcome to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour with your hosts, Derek and Jade.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in and welcome to episode number 22 of the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. Again, my name is Derek with DP Films Productions.
My name is Jade with Justice Promised Events. Today we chat with Therese, owner of Luvspun, a fun and edgy cotton candy vendor that uses raw organic sugar and natural flavors.
That's right. This is going to be one dope mother fluffin' episode. So grab a drink, take a seat, and let's get to it. Yo, what's up, Therese? Thank you for being a part of our show. How's it going?
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. How you doing? Where are you located at?
We are located in the beautiful armpit of California, Bakersfield, California, where it is blazing hot.
Oh
yeah,
boy, I can imagine.
Yeah. Are there any fires going on over there? I know there's a lot over here.
Not currently in our specific area, but we get all of the wind from the Los Angeles area. So that Lake Hughes fire, the lake fire, is blowing all the smoke over the mountain, just right into our nice little valley.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
It's just too much.
I mean, the good thing about it is the forecast was 109 or 110. But because of the smoke covering the sun, it's only about 102 or 104. So, there are some good things to the smoke. Although you can't breathe, at least you don't burn to death,
Right.
And then we cry over here on the Central Coast in Pismo area.
Oh, I know.
When it's 80 degrees.
Yeah, we're dying.
We're dying.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I'm from the coast. I've lived there most of my life. So, yeah, I completely understand. It gets to a certain temperature and you're like, oh my gosh, where's the air conditioner? And none of the houses have air conditioners.
Exactly.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, Therese, let's start this podcast off. So if you could let the listeners know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it.
Okay. My name is Therese Dozier, and I am the head mother fluffer at Luvspun. We are an artisanal cotton candy company based here in Bakersfield, but we ship nationwide.
Well, that's super cool. That's nationwide. That's huge.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
So what originally inspired you to start this business, Luvspun, and how did you come up with the idea? Did you always have a sweet tooth or something?
Yeah. So well, of course, right? But I love cotton candy, and I can't even think of the name of this event, but it was a wedding event. I was planning my last wedding, actually. So I used to be a wedding planner, and I went to this wedding event in Los Angeles, in Culver City, and it was really gorgeous. It was very interactive. It wasn't like a regular trade show where you just show up and you go from booth to booth, but it was set up like an actual wedding with all the vendors kind of around. They had a dance floor, bar, and all this stuff, and they had a cotton candy vendor there. And I was like, "Oh, this is a great idea," but it wasn't fancy. It wasn't funky. It was, I mean, no offense. It was just kind of weddingy. It was just kind of pink and beige and very middle of the road. And so I was like, this can be done a little differently, and this can be for weddings. This can be for every event. And that's where the seed was planted. And that was 6 years ago. And then we just started Luvspun the fall of 2018.
Nice.
So it was October 2018, and it's been going strong ever since.
Nice. I like that. I like how you saw this idea, or you saw this little vendor, and you're like, I bet I can make this way better. And you just brought it to a whole new level.
Different.
Yeah, nothing's new under the sun, right? I have a friend that's a wedding photographer in Orange County, and she was telling me, she's like, yeah, all you do, she says, you want to be rich, you find something that you don't have to recreate the wheel, right? You just find something that you can just put your flair on, and then, and take it from there. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea, So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's such a, I like your friend that said that. That's huge. Like, you don't have to, for business in general, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but just, give it that extra whatever. That's huge. That's a good advice. That's really good advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing about, especially like the wedding industry, is there's so many different vendors. There's planners and photographers and florists and cake bakers and videographers, right?
Yeah.
And I found, like, when I was in that environment, that it was really so competitive. But at the end of the day, nobody's really offering anything different. It's just their own take on it.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know how it really is now, but I know that when I was heavily involved in weddings, the whole idea of collaboration over competition was something that we held really strongly in our company, because it's just like, I'm here. I've learned from these mistakes. We've had, crazy experiences. I want to share this with everybody, because even, if I give you the recipe, your sauce still won't taste the same as mine,
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. I like that too. But when it comes to like any vendor, like you said, we're all almost the same, but we all have our own little flavor to our company. And yeah, that's
absolutely
really cool. So, I saw your Instagram, and your style is like super like modern, like hip, like really cool, like
edgy.
Edgy. Like, how did you come up with your style?
I don't know. I think, and going back to weddings, I think it was, the weddings have their kind of their own like steez, right? Just like, it's fluffy and pretty, and I spent so much energy trying to, I think, like 10 years ago, trying to conform to be wedding appropriate all the time. And I found towards the end of my wedding career was that I was happier when I was true to myself. And so, I always thought, okay, as I closed my wedding business, I said, if I ever work for myself again, I will sell a product and I will sell it as myself. I won't conform to any kind of industry norms or anything like that. And I think that's what you see in our social media is that Luvspun is me. Like, it is 80s music. It's old school hip hop. It's rowdy, like, the F word is my favorite word. So, I mean, if I can use fluff, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So, it's just, it's just an expression of me, and it's however I'm feeling that day. That's what gets posted.
That's so, like, you're standing off a bunch of like amazing nuggets here. Like what you said right there, like, the wedding industry, it's pretty, it's almost has like the same tone. Everyone kind of is afraid to be different. They want to fall into that category. And like you said, you wanted to be yourself, and that's huge. I feel like a lot of people are stuck and they're afraid to, go outside of the norm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So don't be afraid to be true to yourself, people.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm curious, how did you come up with the name Luvspun? It's so cute.
Okay, so you know how you write down and you spitball all of these ideas. It was like spun sweetly and sweetly this, and I was like, this is corny, and I just kind of thought about it, like, what do I want to put into my business? I want to make sure that love is our tenant, right? Like, all love. Love is love, equal love, love of self, like all the loves, right? So, that is something that I wanted to make sure was conveyed. And that we make this with love. Like, this is a family business. We got, the kids packing the little button packs and taping up the boxes. My wife, she is the backbone. So there's a lot of us, putting our love into this. And so I wanted to make sure that, the name conveyed exactly what's in it. So it's fun with love. Luvspun.
Perfect.
Yeah, we love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I noticed on your Instagram too, we kind of went like digging in there, and your website too. But
Yeah, for sure.
You said on there that you use a lot of clean ingredients. That's really cool. Can you like
A lot of
go
sorry, I missed you.
Like, can you just dive us in and let us know more about like why you went like clean organic instead of
Yeah, we're clean AF as Fluff. We wanted to, so cotton candy, like everybody thinks of cotton candy, they think about the fair or they think about the circus, because that's where I used to get my yearly fix, right? At the circus in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's usually pink or blue. And it's just this sweet, sugary, like once it gets in your mouth, it gets crispy. It has no determinate flavor.
Mm-hmm.
You're just eating this bag of sugar. And so I wanted to make sure that we had like some difference, in the market, making sure that, ours stood out not only by flavor, but by quality. We have 2 children on the spectrum. And I wanted to make sure that if they ate our cotton candy, that there wouldn't be anything to interfere with them or irritate them.
Yeah.
And it's, it's a clean snack. It's just sugar. People are like, oh, sugar is so bad, but we make sure that we use, raw organic sugar and natural flavors. So there's nothing nasty in there. And people are more apt to eat like junk. Like cotton candy. If you can tell them it's clean, right? Like, look, it's clean. Just try it. You're gonna have less sugar in a cone of cotton candy than you will in the Starbucks that you have today.
That's true.
Jeez, that's so cool. So, like, do you feel that since you went on the cleaner route for your guys' products, do you feel like it helps you guys book more? Like, you get like some.
Absolutely. I think people are more apt to have it for their kids or for their weddings. And it's different because we don't use any artificial colors or anything. So, it's hard for us. Sometimes we get confused at what we spend because everything's the same color.
Yeah.
But, it goes with every color scheme. So, and it's trendy, so yeah, I think that, keeping it clean does influence, the amount of bookings that we get.
Awesome.
I like it.
So I was looking at your flavor list and it's so good. Like, how do you come up with all those flavors?
I don't know. I just think about all the different flavor profiles that I enjoy.
Uh-huh.
And we're constantly trying to develop new flavors as well. But we have about 200.
Jeez.
So like we put out, what we think people would like. So it's probably closer to 100 flavors that we'll probably have listed in any one space. But there's, other flavors that we have that people may not need, like basil and Parmesan and butter. We have the ability to develop the flavors, and we just kind of put out the ones that we know will be most popular.
Right.
That's so cool. I didn't know there was a bagel flavor.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Oh no, butter.
Oh, butter flavor.
Butter, Parmesan.
Basil like the herb,
Yeah. Oh, basil. Yeah.
Yeah, basil.
That's so cool.
What are the most popular flavors?
Our most popular flavors are really anything that we can put tahini on. So I know people are like, tahini on cotton candy, but yes, it is a thing. So we have our pineapple, our mango, we have watermelon.
Nice.
And what do we have? Cucumber. We just released that bundle a couple weeks ago for our weekly bundle. And it was so popular that we held it over for a couple of weeks. But that's like, those are our top 4 sellers. People love to say tahini on their cotton candy. So, yeah, those are the most popular.
That sounds super good.
Oh, it's bomb.
Nice. So, like, what's your personal favorite?
My personal favorite, it really depends. It depends, because sometimes I'll mix something up and I'm like, that is fire. I love this. But I think cucumber. And we have a tropical punch that's really amazing.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, but peach Bellini is slowly growing on me.
Nice. So we like,
yeah.
So a question we really like to ask the vendors is like, what inspires you to do what you do?
What inspires me? Okay, I have all this inspiration. So I have my kids, of course. They push me. You know, they keep me on my toes, because the reason I enjoy working for myself is just kind of because I don't really fit in a corporate space.
Yeah.
I've got too much mouth. So, and it just doesn't work for me. So just trying to, inspiring my children to create their own lane is really important to me. But I think one of the things that keeps me going in the business is, well, pre-COVID, obviously, is just the joy that we were able to bring our customers off of something so simple. It's a tablespoon of sugar, and people, you should see their faces. They're light up, when they're watching us spin it. And they're like, is this your menu? When they're like, they walk up and they're like, can I get pink? I'm like, yeah, pink's not a flavor, baby. But we've got this ginger, and we've got this pineapple. And they're like, wait a minute, let me process this. It's an experiential thing. So, like I said, pre-COVID, that's what kept us going. People, the expressions and the enthusiasm behind our product really is amazing.
That's so cool. I like how you mentioned, because we're so used to, like you mentioned before, blue and pink. So people just come up and like, can I get pink? Like,
yeah, especially when they have kids. They're like, yeah, she'd like a pink one. I'm like, yeah, we don't have that. Sorry.
Yeah. You're like, here's our list of flavors, and you drop down this flavor book. Boom.
Right. I'm just like, like all snooty. Like, yeah, we don't say pink. Yeah. No, just like, just joking.
So do you have your own shop too, or are you mobile? Like,
we are mobile. So yeah, nice. We don't have a shop. We are mobile. We have a Luvspun kitchen that is part of our home. But we were mobile prior to COVID. COVID kind of caused us to pivot quite a bit. Yeah.
Everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it essentially, just our event, schedule supported us and a staff of 3.
Yeah.
And, we had to pivot and put it in tubs. Like we sold tubs before, but it wasn't consistent. We would sell in tubs if we went to a large marketplace or a large pop-up or something like that. But it wasn't something that was a regular offering, but now it's our sole offering.
That's so cool. We'll get a little bit more back into the crazy COVID. But
yeah, for sure.
I wanted to ask. So, I mean, you mentioned before about being family based, which is really cool. I like family owned companies. Have you ever thought about like adding employees as your company gets bigger?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have plans to scale this business hugely. We're just waiting for opportunities. So yeah, absolutely. We fill those spaces as we need to.
Definitely.
Nice. So right now it's like mainly your family though. That's so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, and right now, just because of safety purposes also, right. We've been quarantined since I think March 12th or 13th.
We lost track.
So like we've had absolutely no one in our home.
Yeah.
And we might go out to pick up some food from takeout, but we're not. We don't go out in public at all. And contactless delivery to people's doors locally. So nice. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. So I was wondering, just circling back to the beginning, did you start Luvspun with weddings, or did you start with the tubs or something else before the weddings?
No, we started Luvspun as event based, definitely. I think what I did want to make sure though, when we started Luvspun, that it wasn't kind of pigeonholed to weddings. I had been in, like I said previously, I had been in the wedding industry for a really long time. And I know like weddings are recession proof. Weddings, like even I believe I started my other wedding company, I think in 2007. And then 2008, the crash happened, right?
Yeah.
And even with that happening and everybody, holding on to their pocketbooks, that business just soared through it, like just grew exponentially, which was really amazing. And so I was like, oh yeah, weddings is where it's at. I'll probably never leave this industry. But when I started Luvspun, I was conscious of making sure that it was marketed a little broader than just weddings, just because I didn't want our brand to be pigeonholed into the pink or blue, the light pink and fluffy flower kind of moment. And no offense, that's just I didn't want find myself conforming again.
Right.
And so that's why I chose a different voice and a different tone.
That's super cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back into the COVID.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, it's like a topic that we normally didn't want to go into, but now that it's never gonna go away, we might as well
Don't say that.
Okay. Now that's gonna.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm with you. This is our life now. It's just like pre 9/11, right?
Yeah. This thing.
We took everything for granted before then, and then it happened, and our lives are changed forever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to get into is, as a company, especially in the event industry, and this is what most people want to know about, other vendors are really curious how people are adapting. So we want to know, how are you adapting and how are you going to move forward with the event industry as, this thing progresses or whatever happens?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think I'm trying to figure it out myself. When COVID hit and locked everybody in their houses, I was just like, okay, I was freaking out about about the safety of everyone first. Yeah. So that it wasn't really my concern about, how we were going to make money initially. I mean, obviously we have to survive, but I'm like, is this thing in the air? Are we all going to die? Yeah. So that was my initial concern. And then I had to kind of go through the stages, right? Grieving my ability to leave the house. And then, it was just a whole emotional mess over here. So there was a lot of ice cream, a lot of bed laying,
right.
And no sugar spinning for a while. But then, my friends are like, get your shit together. Oh, sorry. Then I cussed. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
My friends are like, get yourself together and do what you do. And I'm like, okay. I felt really silly trying to slang sugar while people can't even get toilet paper. I felt like it was really frivolous, to try and be like, hey, can you just buy some of my sugar?
Yeah.
Why would I be selling sugar when we don't, we're going to die, right? Mm-hmm. And in that moment, in March or April, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, my friend was like, I had a friend, and he was just like, no, sell sugar because people need something happy. They need something happy right now, And I said, okay. And I tried, and it was we had an amazing response to it. And so we had to figure out how to kind of pivot's the word, right? We had to figure out how to pivot and kind of change our business model a little bit. And so, still maintaining that, this product is about love and all the fun, but trying to translate that experience that you get when we're in person in front of you and you're across the market or you're across the event and the smell wafts you, the smell will literally carry you over to our booth. The cartoon characters smoke, So how do we translate that experience into something that's digital and something that's virtual and something that you can't smell? I mean, it's still tangible, but how do we convey that? And so that was, I think, the challenge that we had. And also, logistics. I was lucky enough to have a product, but I do know the other end of it, like I said, being a wedding planner before, having a service to sell. And when you can't provide that service, what do you do? Mm-hmm. So I feel blessed in that way that we had an actual tangible product to sell. But just, figuring out logistics and shipping. Our margin changed as well because we had to now supply tubs and boxes and bags and all those things that we didn't have to provide in person.
Right.
And then we also had to figure out a way to narrow down our expanded list so that we weren't running around filling like a zillion random orders. So we figured out a way to release a menu every week and do that through our Instagram page so that people we build up the hype around the flavors for that week. We released a 4-tub bundle, and we currently have it priced for COVID, and offering local contactless porch delivery. So, we went into, what precautions we were taking and just making it as easy as possible for our customers to feel safe with our product, and still, making it easily accessible to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then creating an experience with a tub and a bag.
Yeah.
So like trying to make sure that we're on top of our social media, that we're pressing the buttons, we put all the rowdy stuff in our stories. So last week it was WAP. And it was like wanting all the pineapple instead of what it really stands for.
Yeah.
And our DMs blew up. So it's just, about keeping the engagement and making sure that people are, it's a party when they come to our page.
That's so cool. And I like that, like you mentioned, you had to pretty much adapt. And with this whole COVID thing, I felt like it really made entrepreneurs like, whoa, had to change their game.
Get creative.
Yeah. What are you made of? Like, this will show you what you're made of right now.
Yeah. Anyone could start a website and make a business, but if you could survive through craziness like this, you're an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So I was you gangster right there. So, are you still booking right now, like micro weddings? Cause obviously like the bigger shebang ones are kind of like capped out. So do you feel like you're doing something?
No, we are not booking any live event. We were like right when California was trying to take the turn towards keeping it suppressed.
Yeah.
We were planning on trying to figure out ways to do so. We were planning to, get masking tape around our table so that people would stay back and get polls so we can hand them their cotton candy. And then everything kind of just went downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at this point, just our family is compromised in a bunch of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's just safer for us to stay, out of the public.
Yeah. So that's smart that you have, like you said, an actual product that you could ship out. So right now that's like the bread and butter right now, your physical tubs of fluff.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a better value than, if you were to see us at a marketplace, because you're getting 3 of our live spun cones inside of 1 tub, so that, it's shareable. And I've had customers tell me that, we buy 2 bundles a week and we share some with our neighbors. So it's a way that people have been kind of, spreading love, which is hi. They're doing it for us,
Yeah, we need to order us a little tub of fluff.
Yeah, that make my week.
Yeah. We'll definitely get an order for that.
Yeah. So just to kind of wrap things up, any memorable wedding stories that you can share with us?
Oh,
the industry for so long.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So many. I have the weddings typically go smoothly. I have a really bad one, but I think it's like a bummer. Oh. It's timely, but it's a bummer. But I think the magic used to happen inside of my shop. I had a bride who was an angel, sweetheart, and her sister. They would come to our meetings, and then they would bring their mother. And that was the thing about weddings, was like, you're only legally contracted to these 2 people, but you have to deal with the entire family. So it was like the momzillas, not the bridezillas.
Exactly.
So I had this mom, and we had talked about, every detail of their design and their florals and all of these things. And we had gone over the cost probably 3 times before the payment was due, the payment in installments. And come the day that the first installment was due, there was a meltdown discussion. The mom came in and completely berated me, and it was a meltdown. Like, she was shaking and kind of,
whoa,
I don't know if she was just a little off, but she just went through all of this rigmarole, and it was like an hour discussion. And I'm like, hey, this is what we talked about. Remember, we signed off at the last consultation that you agreed with all of this. So it's just delivering the check at this point. And we went around and around and around and around for at least an hour. And then I think she gave up, and at the end of it, she handed me a cashier's check that was already made out for the amount. So I left that day just kind of
I left to hang there.
Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this dance if you already had the check printed with the right amount?
Yeah.
It was just one of those things. And so for us moving forward, it was one of those things where we had to sign an addendum to our contract that said, hey, we're not going to, tolerate any further crazy behavior, and had the bride agree. A previous contract stated something. It was like what we called our bridezilla clause.
Yeah.
And it essentially covered us for any crazy behavior, because we had experienced it all. We had, a bridal party, the groom's side have an entire concert of N-word jokes at the end of a wedding in my earshot, so that I can, it's specifically for me. There were so many stories. So like I'm saying, we had to cover our tail as far as our contract was concerned. So I don't know how funny it is, but
no, that's
these people are crazy.
No, that's really
that's real though.
That's real, and that's really good that you shared that. That's awesome, and I'm glad you made it out of it. But for the takeaway for businesses that do, because we have heard other vendors that have dealt with the moms that have got really mad or take over it, and the bride and groom just kind of sit there. So what would be your advice to those vendors that are in those situations?
I would just make sure that if they are signing a contract with a couple, that is the couple, and then just politely advise them. If the parents start trying to step in and they trying to say, well, I'm paying for it, I would just, confirm and tell them hey, we're not contracted, so I don't have to listen to you. I mean, I'm very blunt. I don't know how to say it nicely.
Yeah.
But I'm sure other people, that's another reason why I had to kind of, step away from weddings, because I don't deliver things. I deliver them straight,
Yeah.
And so, I just tell them, hey, this is the contract that's between, the bride and groom. And if you have any concerns, then talk directly to them about it.
Yeah.
It's funny because I probably would change my contract after every event because something new would come up that I hadn't covered in my contract. So by the time I was ready to retire from wedding planning, my contract was it's
Solid.
Everything but COVID covered in that contract.
Yeah, and that's true. For people that are starting their business, they will learn that as they do more and more bookings, their contract starts to change and gets added, doing new things little by little, which is.
Yeah, I would tell them just to if something if they say they get caught up in something or oh man, I didn't, I wasn't detailed enough about this, make sure that they make a note about it before going into the next contract so that they can make sure that they make those changes, because those little things, will either turn you off to what you love to do or create all these little bitty, losses that at the end affect your bottom line.
Yep. That's true. And like you said, I like how you mentioned it could make you like pretty much, yeah, you got to keep your contract nice and tight because like you said, eventually they'll start to pick it apart and then you'll start to like lose interest and be like beaten down.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
that's true. Yeah. I was there at the end. It was like between the contract and trying to conform to industry aesthetic standards and and all the rest of the griminess of our business. Mm-hmm. It just, it wears on you. And, most people get into this business because they want to serve and they love the joy that they're able to bring to people. But, there's such a long road and journey getting to that point sometimes that, it can dissuade you.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing I like is, like you mentioned, we all love what we do, and sometimes we get more on that side. We're just like, oh yeah, we want to book you, and because we love what we do, we're really passionate. But in the end, that client is gonna still look at you as a vendor, and they will tear you apart if you're not, I don't know, doing what you're doing or whatever. They'll still break you down.
I think what's really important, and this is something I learned probably my last year, was making sure, like, a lot of people who start off into the wedding industry or just new to the wedding industry will probably be more apt to this. Is just taking, like, if somebody's willing to sign your contract, they'll take that client.
Yeah.
And, all money to them is good money. And that was me in the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, this person's going to pay me my full price. That's great. But, not always making sure that we mesh. And because it's such an intimate event in a person's life.
Yeah.
Getting married, that it's really important that you have a really good rapport as a vendor with your client. Because if you don't, if there's any communication breakdown, there's automatically going to be an assumption that, vendors are trying to screw them or get over on them. And I think having, a good rapport and a great communication is really, really important. So I would just say, yeah, absolutely.
Expectations in the beginning, probably too.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to use Basecamp a lot, and I would make sure to tag all tasks, who was assigned what, so there wasn't any of that falling through the crack. Nice. Not crap, through crack. But just, making sure that we mesh, because at the end of the day, as a vendor, you're interviewing the couple as much as the couple is interviewing you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge. I like that. And sometimes I feel like when it's like the booking process, sometimes we feel like we're the ones being interviewed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But really, it has to be a good fit both ways.
It has to be a good fit both ways.
Yeah, I think, and if you have that feeling where you're like, ooh, they're going to pay, but ooh, something's like, can't even put your finger on it, and it's just not, something is giving, your bells are going off. Mm-hmm. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every time with a client, with a prospective client, because I don't know how many times I moved forward with a client when the bells were just like going off. Yeah. This is not the one, and it always bit me in the ass in the end.
Yep. That's huge. Yeah. That's a good tip for those entrepreneurs.
Oh, am I so Debbie Downer right now?
No, this is real.
Okay.
This is huge. Like business tips are huge. These are gold. So yeah, so people for that are listening, trust your gut. Don't just book it because, I don't know, you need it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you'll find more satisfaction if you're able to conduct business that way. Like, there's definitely time in your business that you'll have to just kind of bite the bullet,
Yeah.
But you'll get into a sweet spot where you can ask for your worth, mm-hmm. and you can get your ideal clients if you just kind of stay true to you and stay true to your service or product, and trust your gut.
That's huge. I feel like when you start trusting your gut and you start going with the clients you want to book, the clients you want to book, I feel like you'll start getting more of those people.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's what I saw towards the end. I mean, that's why when I started Luvspun, that was one of the things. Like, I'm just going to just do me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be as irreverent as I want to. I don't care. You can turn your nose up. Like, the back of our band says, "Sugar, the only white powder we slang."
Yeah.
Like, I live in a gated community with all the snooty folks, you know, and they're like, "Oh, clutching their pearls." Okay, but guess what? You clutch your pearls, I'll go to the bank.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
awesome.
That's so funny. That's so cool, though. I love it. I love how you're just so true to yourself and just like, you know, I am who I am. Like,
Yeah, and it pays off.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so good. Therese, this has been
Thank you.
amazing. You know, you've been a blast.
Yeah.
The tips,
Aw.
everything's gold. So we just like to end off, but if you could let everyone know, you know, where they could find you at, social medias, website.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Luvspun, and that's Luvspun. We can be found at luvspun.com, and that's LUV-SPUN.com. And our Instagram is poppin'. You can find us at LuvSpunFloss. And say hi.
Dope. We like it. So guys, if you guys are looking for some amazing cotton candy and an awesome vendor, check out Luvspun.
Yay!
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
That was a dope episode. I especially loved how Therese isn't afraid to be true to herself, even when it comes to her company's image.
Yeah, her edgy vibe is so unique. It makes the overall experience more fun for everyone. Also, I love the cleanliness of the product and that you can place orders nationwide.
Definitely. And you know we got to get a few tubs.
Oh yeah.
As always, guys, thanks again for tuning in to the Wedding Vendors Happy Hour. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to hear from some more amazing wedding professionals. Till then, we'll catch you on episode number 23.